Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and today we're going to install the RealTruck Retrax XR and Elevate rack system on my good buddy's Ford F-150 XLT. This is a 5'7" short bed model, and he needed some sort of utility, and so he and I talked. He recently got this truck and he said, I want to be able to do surfboards, I want to be able to do camping trips, I want to be able to do a good amount of usability with my truck, but I need whatever sort of rack system we do to be easily removable and adjustable as well. So that's why we ended up deciding on the RealTruck Retrax and Elevate system. Because initially we thought, all right, well, let's do some sort of the big rack system where you see them, you kind of like screw them in or attach them to the side rails here, and then it goes up over. You can either have one that goes over the cab or just goes over top. But he didn't want that permanency there. He wanted to be able to kind of adjust it on the fly. So I reached out to RealTruck, and this is what they gave us. Now, quick side note, you can purchase these or anything else from RealTruck with my link below. And if you use the Daily Motor code, then I'm going to get some bounce back there. I don't know if it saves you any money. It depends on when you're buying it, but at least it gives us actually a significant chunk of money as well. So I've used RealTruck products on our Ford Maverick, on our Ford F-350. We've used them on my other buddy John's Honda Ridgeline, and he's really enjoyed those products on there. So check the link below if you do want to pick some of these up. This isn't going to be exactly an install video because RealTruck actually provides really great installation instructions for a lot of different models of their products on the website. So I'm going to be following along with those as well as the printed instructions. But this is going to be more of a candid review on the product and the installation process because they make it look really easy on their website. But I'm going to tell you if it really is that easy and tell you if there are any issues you need to know as you go about. So without any further ado, let's tear in a little bit and see what we got. 4 different boxes came. I really, my heart went out to the UPS driver who had to carry all of these in. Let's get ourselves some sort of knife. Now you can also get the Retrax MX model, but that's not going to give you the T system that allows these rails to go in. And it should also be noted that the RealTrax cover that we got here, the Retrax cover, that is compatible with a lot of different other brands' T systems as well. So I think Thule, however you pronounce it, and a few of the other outdoorsy accessory manufacturers have this T system that you can use and should be interchangeable. Some RealTruck troll stickers, as Flossie Carter would say. Oh, okay, this whole box just has keys. What are these? TRX. These must be for the RealTruck. Seems like a whole lot of hardware. I do think we'll be utilizing all these as we get into the install. I see these T-bits, and because I was a good presenter and already watched the videos, I know that we'll be using those here shortly. Okay, we've got some rails, nicely packaged there, seem to be in good shape. A little bit of impact right there, I don't know what that's from, but I'll let you know if that affects us as we're doing the install. Okay. One of the advantages of using this Pro system, the Retrax Pro XR, is you can put up to 500 pounds on there. So whether you're using it without the Elevate rack or with the Elevate rack, that's a good amount of weight you can put up there. You could even put some sort of roof nest, folding tent up there if you wanted. Okay, I believe these are our Elevate racks, so we're going to move this off for now and get into the apparently new improved packaging for the Retrax. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, that's actually pretty easy. Didn't even have to cut anything open. Now, I should also point out, while this is sponsored, I will not hold back from letting you all know my honest opinions on the products. Like I said, I've done quite a lot of stuff with RealTruck, and they've been good to me so far. But if anything goes screwy, I will let you know both for your sake and theirs so they can improve in the future. Installation sheet. Any damaged or missing parts? That's a good idea. Let's make sure we got all our parts right here off the bat. Giving yourself a good, clean workspace is important. All these T's seem to be the same height. I was told that we would have some shorter ones as well. Maybe those are in a different package. Now the other thing that will be interesting from this video is, can you install this with one person? It's just me over here right now. I'm seeing now that that smaller box was for our Elevate rack. I'm gonna kind of roll it out here. feel like we're supposed to have a little bit more hardware than I'm seeing so far. I see some keys, some drains. Where's the rest of our hardware? Oh, there we go. It was in the bottom of the box with the side rails. So we've got top piece, big boy back here, 2 side rails. That's A, B, C, and D. And then we've got E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is I and J. Ooh, how about G? Oh, wait, no, we're good. These are G, and then H are the drain tubes. So we are ready to get installing. Right off the bat, this sticker that you have to remove could be a higher quality sticker that doesn't tear off like that. I mean, that's really annoying. That could, little could go a long way there. Little pro tip, if you're doing this on your own, use some of the boxes that came with it to support the side rails as you're installing them. It's a lot easier than trying to hold it and do it all at once and screw it in. Another hiccup, the video that I'm watching on the 2017 F-150 says that these canister bolts here are Allen keyed. However, the kit that I've got gives us 4 Phillips head bolts to go in there. And I was following along and used one of the Allen key bolts they provided that apparently are for the front cover and blasted it through here into the back. So hopefully that didn't really screw up our threading, because we might already be in a bit of a situation, but we'll find out. So beware that the directions here should be believed over the video. Okay, everything is installed here. I'd say probably easier than I expected. The video makes it look too easy. I will tell you that. The install video makes it look super smooth. I've probably done it 50 different times, but there is some finagling that has to be done to get the rails to kind of seat in. And then, like I said, elevating the rails here helps you get all the last bits and bolts in there. But overall, not too bad. Probably a little bit easier than those truck Cedo ones that I've done so far. But this part I'm really interested in, and it's going to be getting it into the truck on my own. In the video, they show 2 strapping individuals lifting it in side by side, hoping that I can manage it myself without too much strain. So here goes nothing. Good news so far, because this is such a robust piece of equipment, I've been able to lift it deadlift style right from the cover, right in the center, and move it here to the start of the truck. And then I think what I'm going to do is pretty much get it up onto the tailgate, and then get myself up onto the tailgate, and then again just try to do that right up to the front and not scrape up my buddy's truck. Here we go. Yeah, it's really not that bad. Not too heavy. It's kind of a clean there. Let's go right here. It gives me enough clearance to get up on the tailgate. And then I should be able to lift. Oh yeah, very doable. Walk it in. Look at that. Okay, not too bad. So, because the sun is now blazing, I'm going to clear some of my stuff out of the way, back the truck into the garage so we can be doing the next steps in the shade. Another quick pro tip, now that we are well into installing the clamps, these clamps have to sit right up against the bed rail there, like the inside. It's got to be able to sit and actually kind of press up into the top of the bed rail. So there's little adjustment screws that you have to use to make sure those go in there. And it doesn't tell you that until the second page of instructions. On the first page, it says, yeah, just throw the clamps in there, you're good to go. So before you tighten them all down, make sure those are fitting up in there properly. Now at the end, you've got these drain hoses, and they're supposed to go out what might be a pre-existing hole for you in the back, kind of up by the cab here in your bed. However, as you can see, this truck does not have any pre-existing holes. So I'm gonna pop them out like so, and then where are we at here? Right here. And then drill a hole in that the hose can then be fed through. Also do yourself a favor and thread the hose through the hole that you drill right here before you put it back into the truck, because then it's just going to be a nice bloop and you don't have to try pushing it through without being able to pull it from the back. So do it like this. And there we have it. I gotta say, that was not bad. Obviously a few of those little side notes that I'd put in there to kind of supplement the instructions for this 21 short box F-150, but all things considered, pretty easy, and I would say probably easier than the ones we've done before, the Truxedo ones. That's pretty straightforward. And then you can grab it, pull it closed. Oh, it's got a little resistance now because it's fresh. Click it, and I guess let's move this stuff and see how the tailgate closes. First close. Okay, good. And then just put that down. You could lock it, obviously, and we're in. Cool. Pop it open. Reach over here. Pop this up. That's cool. All right, I'm gonna grab a little lunch, wash my hands, and we'll get the T-bars up. Time for the Elevate rack. Now we've already opened most of our hardware, so let's get this main box open and see what the rails look like, I guess. Here we go, we've got more of a conventional box situation going on with this one. It's not like the Retrax where it just popped right open. I do have to say, for it, all the hardware that these systems come with, the packaging seems to be pretty good. Everything is protected, but yet not too cumbersome. So well thought out there. There seems to be a chainsaw enthusiast who's decided to work near my house, so hopefully that's not too bothersome to y'all. But we've got one rail, two rails, more hardware. Interesting. Weather stripping. Ooh, these feel nice. I already can tell they look a little different than the ones in the video, but I think it should be easy enough to put things together. And that's all of our box contents. So let's tear into our parts bag a little bit. A lot of similar looking hardware here, so I don't know if I got sent a double batch or what the deal is with this, but I'm gonna try to keep the stuff separate that I opened from this container from the new one. All right, I'm going to get all these organized and dive into the video. So far, the install of the Elevate rack has gone remarkably smoothly. I haven't even had any little pro tips for you until now. The way the instruction video is done, they put the weather stripping for the bars on after they're already installed. And if you're working in a big shop like the guy in the video, that's totally not a problem. But in my case, where I've got my garage door, I feel like a lot of you are probably gonna be working in a garage as well. Just keep in mind, it's tedious to kind of duck and push the weather stripping in there, whereas you easily could have done it before putting the bars up, and then you could have done it nice and easy on your truck bed or somewhere else, workbench or something. So that's my only pro tip so far. I'm gonna have to get it all the way put in and then trim it and push it in the bottom there. So coming along. In fact, if you follow the written instructions, it does tell you to install the weather stripping before putting it on the bars. So keep that in mind if you've watched the install video. The entire system has been assembled, and as I just said a minute ago, very, very easily done. Virtually no hiccups getting these installed. Pretty much just follow the instruction manual, I would say. I mean, obviously the visuals from the video are gonna be nice, but just remember that element of the top part there. However, I did figure out my confusion with these. These are supposed to go right here. They're extra little cleats. And I guess they came all together with the Retrax Pro, and I failed to realize that because the video didn't mention them at all, and neither did the instructions. But when I went back and looked at the web page, it showed them in the photo. So I'm going to assemble them, I guess, on my own. And if I notice anything quirky, like usual, I will let you know. But it is going to require removing this back rack, unfortunately. So I'm going to see what it's like taking this whole thing off with just as one unit. It turns out installing the cleats is remarkably easy, and the reason we have so much extra here is because these larger T's are going to be for if you want to use them down here, and then the smaller ones are going to be if you want to remove the weather stripping and use them on the top of the T-bars there. Now, I don't know what my buddy John's going to want, so I'm going to install them here on the bottom. You take everything over here, and you're going to start by sliding in these T's just like we did for the main bars. Those there. And then you get your 4 washers and your 4 nuts. Take one of these bottom pieces, put it right in there. Line up the holes with your bolts. Washer, washer, nut, nut, and you just finger tight these. Get it lined up with the other one, or if it's the first one, just kind of line it up where you want it on the bed. Keep in mind we are going to have to be able to fit those big boys back on here as well. And by just screwing these on finger tight, you can still move them, get it lined up, and then when you got it where you want it, take your ratchet and tighten them down. And there we go, we got cleats. I don't think those come, I think they're about a $50 option. RealTruck must have just thought that they'd look cool, so they sent them with us as well. John will be happy about that. And yeah, let's get this thing back on, which I am curious how it's going to go. It's a little cumbersome. I had to kind of finagle it off the very ends here, so it's going to be a matter of coming up, not beating up the side of my truck with it, or John's truck I should say. And then I'm going to feed that T just properly into there. Alright, there's one. Oh, the other one's totally twisted sideways. Oh, wow. Okay, that's actually isn't too bad at all. Now, I am out the back ones. Just slide it like so. That's probably not great for the longevity of keeping your rails scratch free, but in a pinch, it'll do. Make sure these are lined up, and we'll tighten them down. So that's it. That is our whole setup. I'm gonna get the truck pulled out here in a sec so you can see it a little better, and then we're gonna take it for a test drive. Let's try out the lock real quick before we leave the garage. And then, look at that. That's really cool and remarkably easy on this F-150. So we'll go out for a little drive, see if we can hear these rails at all, any sort of wind noise in the cabin of this F-150. And then John's going to live with it for a week or two, and I'm going to circle back with him and get some ownership impressions on it. But some things you should know: 750-pound static weight limit on these, 500-pound on-road and 250-pound off-road weight limit. So 750 pounds static, that's good. That means you could have a rooftop tent as well as 2 people up there, 2 reasonably sized people I should say, and be within the weight limit. You could also obviously do all sorts of different surfboards and other accessories. I'm sure that's what John will be using it for. Pretty cool. I did wonder if clearance was going to be an issue, and it turns out it totally is. But fortunately I considered it when I watched it as I drove, so it looks like we're going to be dropping this rack down. Initial impressions, it's like you don't even have anything back there. So not too bad. We'll go for a little drive, but just taking a look at it here in the daylight. Looks like in their highest position on the F-150, what is that, maybe a foot taller than the cab? Yeah, I'd say about a foot or so. So maybe, oh, that's probably about 7 feet tall right there. And then obviously you got 1 and 2 rungs below that you can put it down. I am noticing a little bit of scrapage right here from when I dropped it down, and I don't know if maybe coming from the top and letting it down smoothly would have avoided that, but I noticed that on the other side as well. So something in there is not very smooth. Hopefully that'll buff out a little bit for him. What else? Tailgate seems to open and close smoothly. Looks like we got that lined up real nice. Looks good. See, maybe out of the sun you can see a little bit of scrapage on there. Also, I'll have to keep an eye on that one. But cool, let's go for a little drive. Interestingly, on top of installing the Retrax Pro and the Elevate rail system there, this is my first time driving a 2.7 liter F-150. And it's not too bad. It's a nice little motor for around town. I am noticing a little bit of lacking in power for kind of highway-ish driving. Merging, you really gotta lean into the throttle before the transmission kicks down and gets you going, gets boost built up. Maybe that has something to do with EPA tuning. But other than that, it's nice and quiet. There's a bunch of room under the hood. So no sort of rattling I've noticed from the Elevate system back there. I'll have to ask John if he notices any extra wind noise at highway speeds, but I didn't notice anything, any sort of whistling or anything that seemed out of the ordinary to me. So it must just be standard F-150 noise. Here's 60. Yeah, doesn't seem to be making extra noise to me. That weather stripping on the top of it is supposed to keep it from whistling or making any extra wind noise. But that is the reason that we will not be going on the highway to demonstrate right now. Maybe the next time when we give our final impressions, then we'll have a little highway time. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with the system so far. Like I said, it was pretty easy to install. Not really any sort of need to know tricks. I mean, a little few of those tips that I mentioned in there, but follow the instructions and it goes pretty smoothly. No special tools or anything like that. I guess the only thing was having to drill that hole for the drain plugs. But yeah, let's get the truck back to John. Let's let him have it for a few weeks, hear what sort of stuff he does with the Elevate rack, and we'll get some final thoughts on the system. It's been about a month since we installed the Elevate rack and Retrax tonneau cover here on John's 2019 F-150, and I'm happy to report that he is very satisfied with the result. He said it's exactly what he was hoping for a few main reasons. One, he's really liked that he's able to put things not only under the Retrax Pro tonneau cover here, but also on top. There are times when he loads this thing up pretty darn well. He uses the cleats that are not on here at the moment, but he can actually tie things down and store stuff on the cover that's got a decent amount of weight limit there, and then underneath, and then when he needs to with the rack as well. He's also in the situation where he's finding himself having to take the rack off often for work. So he's appreciated that he can slide these off and just with himself grab it and pull the racks off, put them in his garage, go to work, do what he needs to do, and then for the weekends or the evenings or the mornings, slide them on and away he goes. He has pointed out that it is a little bit frustrating to have to use kind of a two-tool setup, as he put it, in order to remove and adjust the racks right here. So it's not too often that he finds himself needing to adjust the height, but he did point out, I was pressing him, I was like, John, anything that you haven't liked about the setup so far, please let me know. Let's give it to the consumers. And he did say it'd be cool if this were maybe a sort of quick release. In fact, I can already see right here that one of his nuts is not super tight, so maybe he forgot to tighten that one down all the way, I don't know. But you can see a little bit of stripping all the way or already happening. Maybe he's not using the proper tool for doing that. Either way, I know it would be difficult given the weight limit of this Elevate rack, but perhaps if they were some sort of quick release, that'd be more convenient for people who wanted to adjust the height more regularly. However, all things considered, he's been really happy with it, and I was happy with the install process. Yes, it is not a particularly cheap setup. You can get tonneau covers for much less money. You can get racks that install into the bed for much less money. But when you're looking at the overall cost of trucks these days, if you spent $60,000+ on your pickup truck, you're gonna wanna get accessories that fit the finish of the truck, fit the functionality of the truck. You don't want to be putting a $200 Instagram tonneau cover on your $60,000 Ford F-150. You want to have something nice, functional, that works as well and for as long as the rest of your truck. So check the links below, get yourself something from RealTruck here. If you like this setup, if you want the functionality, the weight limit, and the ease of use of the Elevate rack along with the Retrax Pro, check the link below and get that for yourself. Oh, that was one more downside. He did point out that he recognizes that with this all the way open, you do still lose a good amount of bed space. Now, he doesn't ride dirt bikes or anything like that, so it's not a huge deal for him, but he does recognize that that's a good amount of space that you're losing with this in the open position. So be sure to consider that if you're somebody who uses the full length of your bed. Maybe this would be better if you got something like a 6.5 bed or something like that. But that's the cool thing with trucks is based on your needs, you can get accessories that fit it. So thank you all so much for watching. Check our links below to get these or anything else from RealTruck for your truck, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.